10 simple communication skills that change everything. Have you ever wanted to say something in English, but the words just refused to come out? Maybe it was at a cafe when all you wanted was a simple coffee, or at the airport searching for your gate, or maybe with a new neighbor when you wished you could start a friendly conversation, but instead stayed silent. My name is Larry. I'm a master coach and an NLP trainer, and for more than 10 years, I've been guiding students from around the world to speak English with clarity and confidence. Over this time, I've seen the same story again and again. People know the words, they've studied the grammar, but when the real moment comes, nervousness steals their voice. And here's the truth I've learned. Fluency is not about speaking fast or using complicated vocabulary. Fluency is about connection. It's about being understood and about making others feel comfortable when they listen to you. The steps to get there are simpler, kinder, and more human than most people think. In this video, we're going to walk through 10 powerful communication skills you can start using today. Together, we'll look at how simple words carry big power, why slowing down makes you sound confident, how to practice with real people, and even how stories and body language help you connect in ways that grammar alone never could. And I'll make you a promise. If you stay with me until the end, I'll share a lesson that has helped my students transform not just their English, but the way they feel every time they speak. A lesson that could change the way you see communication forever. So take a deep breath, relax, and join me. Let's begin this journey together. Part 1. Keep words and sentences simple. When I first came to America, I remember standing in line at a cafe. I wanted to sound polite, so I tried to put together a long sentence in my head. "Excuse me, could you perhaps prepare for me one of those hot drinks with milk and coffee, if it is not too much trouble?" By the time it was my turn, I was so nervous that the words tumbled out all at once. The cashier just looked at me, confused. Finally, I took a breath and said, "One coffee, please." And suddenly everything was easy. I got my coffee, she smiled, and I learned something important that day. Simple words and short sentences are powerful. They don't make you sound less intelligent. They make you sound clear. When you're nervous, simple language gives you space to breathe. When you're in a noisy place, simple words make sure you are understood. Think about daily life. At the airport, all you need is, "Where is gate 12, please?" In the store, "I'm looking for apples." At the doctor, "I have a headache." These are not complicated sentences, but they carry the message. And that is the goal: communication, not perfection. A common mistake is thinking you must impress people with long words. But in truth, what people remember is how easy it was to understand you. Your short, clear sentences give them comfort, and in return, you feel more confident. So here's a small practice you can try. Pick one thing you often say in your own language and translate it into the shortest English sentence you can. Instead of, "I would very much appreciate if you could show me the way to the nearest bus station," just say, "Excuse me, where is the bus stop?" That's it. Clear, kind, effective. When you start with simple words, you build a strong foundation. From there, you can add more, step by step. And that's how confidence grows. Now that you can keep your words simple, let's move to another skill that makes your English even stronger. Slowing down your voice so people really understand you. Part 2. Speak slowly and clearly. I once worked with a student named Maria. She knew a lot of English words, but every time she spoke, The words came out so fast, like a train rushing by. People would often ask her, "Sorry, can you repeat that?" She felt embarrassed, and she thought the answer was to speak even faster, to sound fluent. But that only made things harder. One day, I asked her to try something different. I told her, "Maria, say one short sentence, then stop. Take a small breath, then continue." She looked at me and laughed, but she tried. Instead of saying, "I want to share my opinion about this project," she said slowly, "I want to share my opinion about this project," and the people in the room nodded. They understood her clearly. In that moment, her face lit up with relief. Speaking slowly doesn't mean speaking less. It means giving your words space. It helps you think. It helps the other person listen. It makes you sound calm, confident, and clear. Imagine you are at the doctor's office. You say fast, "My head hurts, and I can't sleep, and I feel so tired." The doctor might miss something important, but if you slow down, "My head hurts. I can't sleep. I feel very tired," every part is understood. The mistake many learners make is thinking fast equals smart. But in truth, clear equals smart. Clear shows respect. Clear makes people trust you. Here's a small exercise you can try. Say one sentence in English, then count 1, 2 in your head before saying the next. You'll notice your words sound stronger. People will catch every word, and you will feel less nervous. So remember, speed is not the goal. Connection is. When you slow down, you give yourself and others the gift of understanding. And once your words are simple, and your voice is slow and clear, the next step is to use these skills in real life. That's where the real change happens. Part 3. Practice with real people. I remember a student named Tom. He studied English alone for many years. His grammar books were full of notes, and his vocabulary lists were very long. But when he finally tried to speak with a shopkeeper, he froze. The words were in his head, but his mouth stayed closed. Then Tom made a small change. He decided that every day he would speak one simple sentence to another person. At the bus stop, he asked, "Does this bus go to downtown?" At the store, he said, "Where can I find the milk?" At the cafe, "1 tea, please." These were not big speeches, but little by little something happened. The more he spoke, the less afraid he felt. Soon, English started to feel natural, not like a test. You see, real practice happens with real people, not just with a book or an app, but in small daily moments. Talking to a cashier, greeting a neighbor, asking a question in church, even saying hello to someone at the gym. Each short exchange is like a small workout for your confidence. A common mistake is waiting until you feel perfect before speaking. But if you wait for perfect, you may wait forever. The truth is, you learn faster by making small mistakes in real life than by hiding behind silence. So here is a gentle challenge. This week, try to say just one short sentence to someone new. It could be a smile and a "good morning," or a simple question about the bus schedule. You'll be surprised how these tiny steps can change the way you feel. And once you begin to practice with people, there is something else that will help you even more. It's not only about what you say, it's about how you listen. Part 4. Listen actively. A good friend once told me, "Larry, people don't always remember what you say, but they always remember how you made them feel." And I've learned this is true in English too. Many learners think communication is only about speaking, but listening, real listening, is half the conversation. Let me give you an example. Imagine your neighbor says, "I'm moving next week." You could just nod and say, Oh, the conversation stops there. But if you listen carefully and show interest, you might say, "Really? Where are you moving to?" Suddenly, the neighbor smiles, and you have a real connection. That one extra question came from listening, not from having perfect grammar. Active listening means giving all of your attention to the other person. Look at them. Nod your head. Smile. Catch the important words. Sometimes repeat what you heard to make sure you understand. So the meeting is at 3, right? Small actions like this show the other person that you care. And when they feel heard, they want to keep talking with you. The mistake many people make is thinking about the next thing they want to say while the other person is still talking. But when you do that, you miss the moment. True listening is not waiting for your turn. It is being fully present, right here, right now. Try this the next time you talk with someone. Listen for one detail and then ask about it. If your friend says, "I went to the park with my kids," you can say, "That sounds nice. What games did you play?" It's a small step, but it turns a short answer into a warm conversation. When you practice listening this way, you'll notice something amazing. Your speaking will also improve. Because the more you understand how others use English, the more natural your own English will sound. And once you can listen with full attention, the next step is to use that skill to ask better questions. The kind of questions that open doors and invite people to share more. Part 5. Ask questions that open doors. I once met a student named Alex. He was polite and friendly, but every time we practiced English, his conversations ended very quickly. He would ask someone, "Do you like music?" If the person said yes, Alex didn't know what to say next. The talk was over in just 1 second. Then one day, Alex tried something new. Instead of asking, "Do you like music?" he asked, "What kind of music do you enjoy?" The other person's face lit up. They said, "Oh, I love jazz. I listen every night when I cook." And just like that, a real conversation began. Good questions are not about grammar. They are about curiosity. They show the other person, "I care about you. I want to know more." When you ask open questions, questions that need more than just yes or no, you give the other person space to share their story. And stories are where connections are born. A common mistake is to only ask short, closed questions. Do you live here? Is this your car? They are not wrong, but they don't open the door to a longer talk. Instead, try, "How long have you lived here?" Or, "What do you like most about this city?" These kinds of questions invite people to share their thoughts, and they make you sound natural and friendly. Here's a simple practice. Next time you speak with someone, take one closed question and change it into an open one. Instead of, "Did you have a good weekend?" ask, "What did you do over the weekend?" You'll notice the difference right away. When you learn to ask good questions, conversations become easier and more enjoyable. You don't have to push or struggle. The other person will carry the talk with you. And soon, you'll feel less like a learner and more like a friend. And when you start asking questions, something else becomes important too. It's not just about facts. It's also about sharing your feelings and your opinions in a clear, simple way. Part 6. Express feelings and opinions. A few years ago, I worked with a man named David. He spoke English well, but he almost never shared how he felt. When people asked, "How are you?" he always said, "I'm fine." Even when he was tired, even when he was happy, it was always the same answer. One day I asked him why. He said, "I don't want to make mistakes." But here's the truth. Sharing your feelings and opinions is not about perfect grammar. It's about being real. When David learned to say, "I'm tired today," or "I'm happy because I talked to my son," people suddenly felt closer to him. His words were simple, but they carried honesty. Expressing opinions works the same way. Imagine you are in a meeting at work. Someone asks, "What do you think of this idea?" You don't need a long answer. You can say, "I think it's good," or "I'm not sure, maybe we need more time." These short opinions show you are part of the conversation. A common mistake is to stay silent, thinking silence is safe. But silence can make you seem distant, even when you don't mean it. When you share even one small feeling or opinion, people connect with you. They see your heart, not just your words. Here's a small practice. Today, tell someone one feeling and one opinion in English. It could be as simple as, "I feel hungry. I think pizza is a good idea, that's it." Easy, honest, and real. The more you do this, the easier it becomes. Soon, you'll notice people smile more because they feel like they really know you. And once you can express your feelings and opinions, the next step is to add the little magic words that make every conversation smoother. Part 7. Politeness. Please, thank you, excuse me. When I first moved to a new city, I often asked strangers for help. Sometimes I was nervous, but I noticed something important. Every time I added a small, polite word, people smiled and helped me faster. A simple, "excuse me" before a question, a "please" at the end of a request, or a warm "thank you" after someone gave directions. It changed everything. These words are short, but they carry kindness. They show respect, and respect makes people want to listen to you. Imagine standing in a busy restaurant. If you say, "Give me water," the waiter may feel annoyed. But if you say, "Can I have water, please?" the whole mood is different. One tiny word creates a big change. Thank you is just as powerful. At the store, after paying, looking at the cashier and saying "thank you" makes you stand out. Many people forget, but when you remember, it leaves a warm memory. And "excuse me" is like a gentle key. It opens the door to someone's attention without pushing. The mistake many learners make is to focus only on grammar and forget these small, polite words. But the truth is, politeness is often more important than perfect grammar. People forgive small mistakes if your voice carries respect. Here's a little practice. Think of 3 sentences you use often. Add "please," "thank you," or "excuse me" to each one. You'll notice how much softer and friendlier they sound. And once politeness becomes natural in your English, there's another step that makes conversations even warmer: showing real interest in the other person. Part 8. Show interest in others. I remember meeting a man on a flight. We sat next to each other, and at first we just said hello. But then he told me he was going to visit his daughter. Instead of stopping there, I asked, "That's nice. How often do you get to see her?" His face changed. He smiled, and soon he was telling me stories about his family, his city, and even his favorite food. All of that came from one small follow-up question. Showing interest is simple, but it makes a big difference. People feel happy when you notice them. You don't need perfect grammar. You just need curiosity. A small question, a nod, or a comment like, "That sounds fun," or "Really? Tell me more," shows that you care. The mistake many people make is to focus only on their own words. They wait to talk, but they forget to respond to the other person's story. When you do that, the conversation feels empty. But when you show interest, even with one short line, The other person feels valued. Here's a small practice. Next time someone tells you something, repeat one detail and ask about it. If they say, "I went hiking this weekend," you can say, "Oh, hiking. Where did you go?" It's easy, it's natural, and it keeps the talk alive. When you learn to show interest, conversations grow like a tree. They branch out, they keep going, and they become more enjoyable for both people. And once you know how to show interest, the next step is to give back by sharing a little of your own story. That's where the real connection happens. Part 9. Share short stories. A student once told me, "Larry, I never know what to say after hello." He felt stuck because his answers were always very short. When people asked, "How was your weekend?" he just said, "Good." And the talk stopped right there. Then I showed him a simple way to share a story. Instead of one word, he could use 3 small parts. Yesterday, but so. He tried. "Yesterday I wanted to go to the park, but it started raining, so I stayed home and watched a movie." It was only one extra sentence, but suddenly, the other person smiled and said, "Really? What movie did you watch?" The conversation kept going, all because he added a tiny story. Stories make people remember you. They don't need to be long or perfect. A short story about your day, your family, or even something funny that happened on the bus makes you sound real and human. People enjoy listening to stories more than facts, because stories carry feelings. The mistake many learners make is giving answers that are too short. One-word answers close the door, but a small story opens it. And when you share, you invite the other person to share too. That is how friendships and connections begin. Here's a little practice. Today, when someone asks you a question, try to add one "yesterday but so" story. Even if it's very short, you'll feel how different the conversation becomes. And when you start telling small stories, something else will make them even stronger. It's not only the words you use, it's also your face, your hands, and the sound of your voice. Part 10. Connect with others. The big picture. I once visited a small community center where people from many countries came to practice English together. What surprised me was that the best speakers were not always the ones with the biggest vocabulary. The ones people loved talking to were the ones who smiled, asked simple questions, listened carefully, and sometimes shared a small story. They made others feel comfortable. That is the heart of communication. Connecting with others is like putting together all the small skills we've talked about. Simple words make you clear. Speaking slowly makes you calm. Real practice gives you confidence. Listening shows you care. Questions open doors. Sharing feelings and opinions makes you human. Polite words show respect. Interest in others builds trust. Short stories create memories. When you bring them all together, you don't just speak English, you connect as a person. The mistake many learners make is thinking English is only about grammar or exams. But in real life, English is about people. A friendly chat at the bus stop, a smile and a thank you at the store, a small talk before a meeting. These moments are what make life feel warmer. Connection is the real goal. Here's a practice idea. Choose one small moment today to connect. It could be saying, "Good morning" to a neighbor, or asking, "How was your day?" to a coworker. Don't worry about being perfect. Focus on being present. And once you understand connection in daily life, there is another layer that makes your communication even stronger. It's not about words at all. It's about your body, your tone, and even how you write messages online. Part 11. Extra layer. Nonverbal and digital, about 2 minutes. I remember helping a student named May. Her English words were good, but people sometimes looked confused when she spoke. Then I noticed something. She rarely looked up. Her eyes stayed down, her voice was very quiet, and her hands stayed still. The words were fine, but the feeling was missing. Nonverbal language is powerful. A smile tells the other person, "I'm friendly." Eye contact shows, "I'm listening." A gentle nod encourages them to keep talking. Even the sound of your voice matters. A calm, steady tone makes people feel safe. You don't need big movements, just small signs that you are present. And in today's world, digital communication is part of daily life too. A short, polite email with "hello, please, and thank you" feels warm. A text that says, "running 10 minutes late, see you soon," is better than silence. But typing in all caps feels like shouting. Small choices make a big difference, even on a screen. The mistake many learners make is thinking only about grammar while forgetting these signals. But sometimes, your smile or your polite text says more than perfect English ever could. So try this. The next time you speak, notice your face, your voice, and your hands. And the next time you write a message, keep it short, polite, and clear. These little things add a soft touch to your English. And once you begin to use these signals, there is one more step that ties everything together. Knowing the common mistakes most learners make and how to fix them quickly. Part 12. Common mistakes and fast fixes, about 2 minutes. A student once told me, "Larry, I study so much, but people still don't understand me." When we looked closer, it wasn't about grammar. It was about small habits. She spoke too fast, she used very long sentences, and she often forgot polite words. These little things made communication harder than it needed to be. The truth is, most learners make the same common mistakes. Speaking too fast is one. When your words run together, people miss your meaning. The quick fix: pause, breathe, and give each sentence space. Another mistake is using sentences that are too long. Long lines get lost. The fix is simple. Cut them into 2 short ones. Then there is forgetting polite words. A simple "please" or "thank you" makes every request softer. Sometimes the mistake is not asking questions. The talk feels heavy, like you're carrying it alone. The fix is easy. Ask one open question and let the other person share. And finally, looking down or staring at your phone while speaking. This makes people feel you don't care. The fast fix? Look up, smile, and let your eyes show attention. You see, mistakes are normal. Everyone makes them. But with these quick fixes, you don't need to be perfect. You just need to adjust a little. And each small change makes your English clearer, friendlier, and more natural. And now, as we bring everything together, it's time to close with a gentle reflection. Let's remember the most important lesson of all. Communication is not about rules, it's about people. Part 13, Closing Reflection and Call to Action, about 2 minutes. When I look back at my own journey, I remember that first day in the cafe when I stumbled over my words. I thought I needed perfect English to be understood, but I learned something different. Small steps matter more. A simple sentence, a slower voice, a polite word, a short story. Each piece is like a small brick, and together they build a strong house of confidence. You don't need to learn everything in one day. You only need to take one small step at a time. Maybe tomorrow you practice saying, "Excuse me, where's the bus stop?" Maybe next week you share a short story about your weekend. These little actions add up, and soon you'll notice how natural your English feels. So let me ask you, what is one small thing you will try this week? Will you slow down your voice, or will you practice asking a new question? Whatever it is, write it down and maybe even share it in the comments. Your choice may inspire someone else who is on the same journey. And if this video gave you even one useful idea, I'd be grateful if you click like and subscribe so we can keep learning together. Every time you join me here, you are taking another step toward confidence. Thank you for spending this time with me. Remember, English is not about perfection. It is about connection. Keep speaking, keep listening, and keep sharing yourself with the world. I'll be here with you in the next episode.